It looks like we're live.
Looks like we are live. But are we really live? We've got our banner in front of us. It's been a while since I've done this. Hang on. Let's get rid of our banner, our brand banner. Yeah, let's hide that. There we go.
Hey,
look
people
at
are just
that.
hearing us going, are we live?
I'd like to blame the tryptophan from the turkey, but I just took a 2-mile walk to re-energize myself after leftovers. So
now we just blame the walk.
I guess now we're just blaming the walk for Ralph's brain deadness. So it is Black Friday.
Is bad for you kids.
It's bad for you guys. Just sit on the couch more. Be more sedentary. Don't
Exactly.
go walking around.
Right. No, just eat a bunch of turkey and sit on the couch and live a good life.
Yeah. My wife makes this this stuffing, which it's an Italian stuffing, and it has sausage in it.
My wife does the same thing. Yep. Mild Italian sausage. Oh, it's so funny. If you ate any dish, pretty much any dish that we had, like if you're vegan, you're going to be mortified. Like obviously turkey, but then the green bean casserole has sausage in it. Our stuffing has sausage in it. I mean, like pretty much everything. My wife just figures out a way to put meat in it.
Right. Or cheese, which is just as bad.
It's exactly. It's a cool. We're making a dish. What meat or cheese can go in it? If not, then we don't have it.
Is it really healthy? Like my mother makes this spinach casserole, and it's like spinach with cream cheese, and it's like so
cream spinach.
It's like cream spinach. It's absolutely delicious. And my sister-in-law makes this like broccoli, but with like, I don't know how much cheese is in that, like with Bisquick and breadcrumbs, and it's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, that was like my wife made. There was another thing that she made was the Brussels sprouts, but it has bacon in it.
You can't just be like Brussels sprouts.
No. It's like, wait, a greenery without meat or cheese?
There's got to be some kind of meat or some kind of oil.
Yeah. It's like we're trying to stop hearts here. Like
that's right.
That's basically our I don't know what life plans she got, like a life, the life insurance that she's got on me, but it must be pretty good.
It must be pretty good.
I don't remember signing it, but it doesn't mean I didn't in my sleep or something.
Well, thank God for modern pharmaceuticals for both of us.
Bingo.
Yeah, I know what you're taking. I know what I'm taking.
I know. Hopefully, I live to like at least 80. That's my plan.
That's right. Me too. Well, today we are, surprise, going to be talking a little bit of Black Friday because it is Black Friday. Happy Black Friday, John Moran.
Happy Black Friday.
Happy pre-Cyber Monday. This has been a busy day for you. Tomorrow will be a busy day. When I was actively running ads, I was telling my kids this the other day. It's like I wouldn't be here right now because I would be managing all the campaign. Like I did it all. Remember, it was like me and Trish and like one of maybe Jenny, at that point in time, Vlad, and that was it. And these were like the craziest days. So thankfully we've got a team, and obviously you overseeing that on the strategy side, but my Black Fridays and Cyber Mondays aren't quite as nutty as they used to be. So I'm very thankful for you and all you do, as is my family.
Yeah, I'm thankful for the team too. It's without them, I wouldn't be here either. It's always hectic because it's like you got ad spend increases immediately, and then in the same day you got like ad spend decreases immediately. Like it's the promos are started and stopped, and thank God for also Google's and Meta's like scheduling tool. Like I have campaigns that are scheduled to start and scheduled to end and scheduled to only spend, and then a script that stops it if it auto stops it if it spends too much. Like hopefully I set that up correctly. Otherwise it's gonna suck today. So far so good.
It's like making sure your stop losses are in there with your stock trading.
Like
you and I have talked about many times. Oh my God, you can get burned there.
Oh yeah.
So we'll maybe touch on that a little bit today, but actually today you really want to talk about the things you're doing to manage campaigns on a day-to-day basis, which don't necessarily involve going in and changing much, but looking at leading indicators as opposed to lagging indicators, and maybe how this relates back to our now world famous and almost trademarked, by the way, just got the word for marketing performance indicators that it went through the first hurdle on the federal trademark. But anyway, the point is like these things are very, very important, and you're using them day in and day out. And we've talked about that checklist many times. If you don't have it, make sure you head over to sure11.com/MPI, fill that out, get it. we're also building a ton of content around this so that you understand exactly what all these things are. But we're going to talk about just a few of them in here, which I believe I have an idea which ones they are. We haven't pre-scripted this one here today, but we'll give you an indication just for minutes a day as to whether or not your campaigns are on track, whether they're off track, or whether big changes might be needed at some point. So pretty excited to talk about that today.
Yeah. And stuff that I'm going to be showing you today is all things that will apply through Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And maybe now more than ever. Most agencies, businesses, freelancers, in-house specialists, whatever it is, they manage off of lagging indicators.
Yeah.
Why did the ROAS dip? Why did our NCAC increase? Why
too
this,
late?
Why that? Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Someone said, "Hey, it was in a mastermind that was just ending. One person says, "Hey, I'm going to get my clients on Wicked because they're on Hyros," and I was like, "Okay, so Hyros typically is like, here's where the conversions came from, and then it imports it." I said, when you're looking at that, you're looking at lagging indicators. Think of it like Hyros, in my opinion, and I would love to even have the owner of Hyros on here as I'll go toe to toe with them. I think it's more like an autopsy.
Right.
Why did it die? Yeah. It's like, why did it? Now, that's typically what they're used for, is like when things are good, you're not like hunting it down and be like, why is it so good? Like, that's what you actually should be doing. Most of the time, people are like, okay, why is it bad? They're reactive. So it's like a campaign falls off. You go into Hyros, they play autopsy. Why did it die? You know, you're making cuts and seeing what the cause of death is. What I want to show you today is using the MPIs for leading indicators and then going deep, like really, really, really deep. Which is something that I think everyone needs to kind of keep in their habit building is look everywhere. That's what I used to call it. I used to have a campaign called Look Everywhere, how to look everywhere. And this is the same thing, but off of leading indicators. I have two examples I'd like to share with you all today. One of them goes deep instead of Wicked because we can. The other one is using Northbeam that does a little bit of the same thing, but only at a really high level because of more model data. But I'll share with you an example of both just so you have a well-rounded understanding of how we think.
As you're going through that today, can you explain a little bit more in depth, not as the subject of this call, but the difference between all these platforms? We mentioned Hyros, Triple Whale, Northbeam, obviously Wicked without blot out in our tier 11 data suite, like how it all, like, I think giving people an indication of that. We did talk about this like way ahead of our marketing push in 2025, both internal and external. But I'm getting a ton of questions about this. And, I think here is a good place to actually discuss it a little bit more. Not like, hey, we're trying to, beat the competition here. But what we have is if you've got leading indicators that you're using, you want them to be highly accurate, not modeled, not guessed, not unknowns or unattributed. It's like you really want to know specifically, because if you leave it to the platform to model it, and Facebook and Google do this, Meta and Google do this.
Oh, yeah.
It's part of their algorithm. They model it because they don't see it.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas
it's blended.
Yeah, it's blended as opposed to actual. And I think that's one of the big questions.
Can't be hyper specific on the blending. And actually this makes everyone's life easier. So inside of Wicked with the blot out integration through tier 11, the data suite, the leading indicators, ECPNV, the lead flow, the quality of the lead flow, those type of things that you can find in Wicked are predictive. They're predictive indicator, and they're predictive indicator of success. And that's because we're using a data stream.
Effective cost per new visit, by the way, if you don't want to know what ECPNV is, my job is to translate John speak.
I'm just going to say, if you don't know what ECPNV is, and if you haven't visited the link, just sign off now.
You need to know.
Yeah, we're going to pass you by. It's either get on the bus, it's because the bus is leaving. But the way that we're using Wicked is by having extremely accurate, not modeled, but very accurate data to say, okay, I know this campaign is going to go good or bad. And that's actually a pretty powerful tool. If you say, I know this can go good, your day is
going to go good,
going
to go bad.
Right. And by using that very accurate data, you take your hour of your day that you're in that campaign, for example, and hunting down, and then you get to change that into, I'm expecting this metric tomorrow. And if I'm right, I'm done for that day. And if I'm not, then I know where to look. because I have all the 15 MPIs and more, and I know what exactly is the reason why it's not going good or going bad.
Right.
On Northbeam, because it is a tool that is, I'm trying not to ever say anything bad. I'm just trying to explain the differences.
Because we're both investors in that company.
Exactly. I own a part of Northbeam. So does Ralph. Yeah. So that's the same. It's not a bad thing, but the application is different. They rely more on MMM, which is great. If you're a big enterprise and you're like, I really don't care where the 10,000 sales came from yesterday, I just need to know where to put more ad spend. Northbeam is great. It will tell you this is where you should put more money and you should have a good overall top line effect. It's fantastic. The problem, though, I would say, is that it still has trouble in stringing the users together because it's not a quality data stream. And it's not the data that's bad or the data stream is bad. It's how it's fired, because it is fired off a site. So a fast site is going to be accurate. A slow site is not. And it's up to you. The onus is on you to pay Northbeam and then go fix your site. Now, Hyros is like, that would have been a really cool tool before analytics was invented. That one, in my opinion, I'm sorry, it is shit for predictive. Yeah. It could be fairly accurate when you post the conversions back in. It says this is where it came from. And it does do a good job of telling you after the fact what was happening with a fair degree of accuracy. But that's where you have to import, find out things are bad 24 hours later, and then you got to go panic. So I just don't see any use for that tool. Not with everything else that's out there, like obviously Wicked with Blotout. Right. But those are the main kind of differences, is the way the data stream is deployed and the functionality as to which, and the accuracy of the functionality of that data all ties back together into, can you use this to be more of a predictive indicator versus a lagging indicator? And that's, I think, changes your day from, oh God, what happened, into now I know what to expect tomorrow kind of thing.
Right. And it's really how they gather data. Fundamentally, if you are going to the origin server, if you are going to the site itself, so much of that data is going to be blocked. And that's the reason why you have so many unknowns, unattributeds, direct traffic, like upwards of 40 to 70% in cases. Like I know you have an account that you're working on that's like 60, 70% unknowns or direct. It's like you don't know where these folks are coming from, because that tag, that fire, that thing that it strings together the user is actually blocked on the origin server. That's the reason why, if you actually go to the edge, which is a DNS server, which is an edge server in essence, and then you capture that as first party data, and then you pipe it into a Wicked. Like Wicked is good on its own for sure, with all the different MPIs that it has, but with the addition of Blotout and the addition of our data warehouse as that sort of triangulation, that's where the key is. And it gives you insights, like actual insights, not modeled, not blended. And that's a key difference that I think the market needs to kind of understand a bit. And you now have control. Look at that.
I didn't realize that. I had share screens. I was gonna get ready to present, but then apparently it popped up. So hey, sorry about that. Jump the
gun. Way more control. So anyway, so that's the differentiator. So we're going to be repeating that so people understand it, because I do think it takes a little while for people to fundamentally get it, because that's
why I want to share an example of that.
Yeah. So let's do it.
Yep, exactly right. And here's where you can use this data to also dive deep. So if a lot of people use Klaviyo or Constant Contact or whatever, some sort of email marketing tool, and that's going to be fairly important, because I think a lot of people do skip over that. They're just like, what's the spend, what's the ROAS, what's the spend, what's the sales, what's the spends, what's the conversions, but they miss like the activity and the time lag and the sales cycle. But here's a really good indicator as to why Meta was going to throw all of our cash out the window, and how we use Wicked Reports to stop and reallocate it. So here's a good way to look at things. This is what I mean by predictive. So first thing, watch this. See all this red here? Like, wow, things look terrible. But because I'm using predicted, I already know that in the same time period, I spent 13% more and got 32% more customers. So it actually doesn't look as bad. It's just very accurate data. And the things that you don't see are red are the new things that are green that have high amount of spend. And this is really cool to see this.
So for those of you who are listening, so we've gotten comments on this, because some of these we take over to the audio format. People can't actually see them. So I'm going to interrupt you a little bit more here. We are looking at the inside of Wicked Reports, and we've got a level 1 CBO campaign, and we've got all the indicators at the top, costs all the way through to total revenue, ECPNV, and new visit percentage is a big part of that. And you're using this as your predictive sort of command and control center to determine whether or not your campaigns are on or off track.
Yep. Exactly. Okay. And the stuff that I'll be looking at here is I'll give you an example. This is the last week's worth of data. So just last 7 days compared to the previous week. So last week over week. New campaign that was launched, and Meta, for whatever reason, took this ad. The ad's name is Victoria. It's
a dog.
Well, yeah, it's actually, I don't even think it's a dog. We call them that because that's like the owner. It's UGC. So we call it the owner of the animal.
That was the dog name. Okay.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what I always thought. So Victoria, that'd be a fun name for a dog. Here, Victoria.
That's a good name. Hey, Victoria, come here. Sit. Here, Victoria.
Right? Like Bulldog Bob, that's a bulldog.
Oh,
So here's Victoria. And this what's interesting is out of the $13,000 that was spent in this campaign, the Victoria ad had the second highest amount. Now, this is a video ad. So this video ad has a lot of clicks and a very good ECPNB. Like if you're using the basic MPIs and you're not using more advanced MPIs, which we're going to be showing you now, you think this is a pretty kick-ass little campaign. Sure. 64% cold, 21,000 new visits of 33,000 clicks, and a effective cost per new visit of 15 cents, where this campaign is usually getting 56 cents. So, wow, that is fantastic.
You're looking at this and you're going, man, I'm smart.
Exactly. Like, look at all the cold traffic that's cheap and is must be clicking on the video ad because they're fantastic.
Yep.
And then you start looking at predictive indicators. Okay, what's the next logical step of your business, not of a general company campaign? This is only to do with your company. What is the next logical step that you should see before a sale? In our case, it's leads. We get a whole bunch of signups every day. So then you start looking at, okay, if you're measuring the new visits versus the leads, and then compare that to your costs, this is atrocious.
Yeah.
You got $3,200 for 8 leads. The next one down spent $1,700 for 40 leads. The next one down spent $1,000 for 33 leads. The next one down spent $1,000 for 25. Wow, this is very, very bad. Even, if you look at this, Diane spent $5,500 for 240 leads. Like, this is bad. Okay, that's first indicator. This is something that High Rose can't do, as an example. And Wicked Northbeam can, but with model data. So I get nervous on that, because they usually take campaign extrapolated data and then they apply it, which means if the campaign is doing good, this must be doing good too. It's not the case. This campaign is doing fantastic, but it's not the case here.
You could have a really wrong indicator there based on model data, which is dangerous. Right.
This is your best campaign, so it probably came from this, and because they're video ads, so it probably had an influence. Okay, let's assume that. Yep. So it probably had an influence. It probably has more than it's attributed. Let's just use the same kind of it probably did good. So let's investigate. All right.
It's a great example, by the way.
So you take
just said. Yep.
Right. Now you take these 8 leads. And the 8 leads, I'm looking at a few things. Boogie Boy. All right, Boogie Boy. That's the lead name. The lead name of Boogie Boy somehow
definitely a buyer.
Right? Definitely a buyer, Boogie Boy. And somehow, oh wait, why is this not loading? I think I might have. Let's just refresh this. There we go. Is it coming up?
So he's clicking on an individual lead here and then going in. You can actually see who it is who has actually opted in for these leads.
Yeah, the problem is I had 2 different tabs open. Yeah, and I think the 2 different tabs open. I don't know if it's actually.
I think it reloaded.
Pull it up for me now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just keeps reloading. Hold on. Yeah, it's still in. I don't know why it's still in my other campaign. Hold on, let me just give you a minute.
Oh, you've got you're logged into the other one.
Well, I'm not. I don't know why.
Huh. Well, we know this is live.
It's live. You know that I'm not making crap up here.
That's right. People edit it in post-production, but probably not. We like to show warts and all here, John.
Exactly. You're seeing the sausage being made. Like I said,
that's it. We ate a lot of sausage.
That went into the turkey. That went into the stuffing. You're seeing it all. All right. So let's
pork and sausage together. That really is a match made in heaven with some cheese.
There we go. All right. So refresh is now working. Check this out, though. So this person in 3 seconds opted in. Okay. That seems body. All right. So let's grab another one. Let's grab another one.
So we're going into the innards, the guts of Wicked here.
This one.
Yeah. Can somebody opt in 3 seconds? Can you type your name and email in 3 seconds or less? I don't think I can.
I don't think it's physically possible. This one did it in 12.
Wow.
All right. So that's really weird. So, okay. So then we start looking into it generated leads. How fast did the lead generate itself after an ad click? Well, within 10 seconds. So you mean to tell me they went to the site and say, I love it, and I really want to sign up for discounts, and I think I'm going to get something tomorrow, and I want to get a deal, and let's do it today. Everybody did that? There's another one. 6 seconds.
6 seconds.
Then let's dive deeper. I said, okay, if that is the case, let's go and take these people's names and physically put it into our Klaviyo and then investigate further. They got one page view, never subscribed, have no opens, no click, no play, nothing. Not even an added card, nothing on this person. Okay. Gee. Try that again. So now I'm taking number 2. I grab the second lead that I'm using. I'm going to throw that into my Klaviyo account and say, what about this person? This person again, no activity on the right, never opted in, never subscribed. All this stuff here, junk.
Yep.
You can get a lead, but then you're also saying, what's the quality of lead? How long did the lead take that lead to actually opted in?
Yeah.
Junk again. So after all this junk, and then now just imagine that, we looked through a bunch of those and they were all false because that's what we did. I'm just trying to save time here. And I said, well, let's compare that to maybe like a different campaign. Let's compare that campaign to something like this. Or actually, you know what? Better yet, let's look at a different ad in that existing campaign.
So let's look at, by the way, like when all we're doing here is just observing. We're not making any changes.
Nope.
We're looking into something that looks a bit fishy and then finding that presupposition, that inkling is actually probably accurate, because most of these are at Yahoo, at Gmail, all of that, which is a pure indication that it's spam, or it's, those guys that fill out forms for no apparent reason. I really don't get it. But anyway, it's a business model, right?
Yeah.
At Yahoo.
Yep. And that's funny. This one is from the different ad though. Same time period, same campaign, different ad. This one got a whole bunch of sessions and even have an order that happened yesterday. Wow. That's way better than the other one.
Interesting.
So, okay, let's grab another one. Let's grab the second one down here. And we started looking through a bunch of these. We took like 20 different snapshots. Email never subscribed, but this one has a bunch of visits now. Okay, good. The other ones had 0 visits. On the right-hand side, when we were sharing this, no visit data. Now,
so all we're doing is taking out the email address, putting it into Klaviyo, and like looking at the sessions. That's
we're just seeing, are these
double checking
real? Right. Do they opt in 3 seconds and disappear into the ether? Yep. Or did they opt in 4 and 5 minutes and then come back to site multiple times? And this is, imagine how specific this is. This is 2 different ads in the same campaign.
Yeah.
This is wildly different results.
Crazy.
Now, if you want to jump ahead, you just say, well, what's the NCAC? And then you're like, oh God, this thing's like 3,000 compared to 200. So that's a really good indicator right there, but not if there's time lag, not if it's a video campaign, not if, okay. So you can make the assumption where it's like, yeah, but it's a video campaign. It's influencing a whole bunch of other people and they're probably going to buy anyway. But because we have leading indicators, I can tell you, well, I don't care because 33,000 of them clicked. I should have some data.
Yeah.
And I don't have that here.
Is that the only ad in that ad set that's a video ad? It's the only one. Okay.
Only one that's in the video ad and the only one that's not performing.
Yeah.
It's super interesting, but this is the leading indicator. So I know that this campaign, and this is spending $3,200 out of the 13 grand. I have everything else is doing better, not getting any love or any ad spend. But why is Meta pushing this? It's getting clicks.
It's going into the video ether.
And it's getting clicks. Meta. It's getting a shit ton of engagement. It's got a crazy click-through rate.
It's probably all on the audience network.
Exactly. And so what's funny is Meta's like, hey, this is kick-ass. Meta's predictive indicator failed.
Right.
Tier 11's data suite's predictive indicator won against Meta. Are you kidding me?
It's a big deal.
Yeah. We beat Meta at the predictive indicator of their algorithm. Which is not bad for like,
that's not too bad for a Black Friday when we're both like, drugged up on tryptophan.
I know, right?
But you're doing this every day.
Exactly right. This is how I manage a lot of accounts where I can say, okay, I expect these to look great. And that one has a really horrible Cost per lead. The lead flow looks spotty. The lead flow didn't do anything after they opted in. That also made it a really terrible NCAC. This campaign's not old at all. If we look at the actual campaign of how much Victoria's been running, we know that if we look at the last 14 days, on day 3, I could tell you this thing's going to fail.
Yeah.
On the third day in, I can tell you with utmost certainty to stop this campaign.
The campaign itself, though.
I'm sorry, the ad. My apologies.
Yeah,
the ad.
Right.
Yes.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, most of the ads in this client here are mostly image ads.
Yeah.
Not very many video ads. Or maybe like short videos in some cases, but mostly images, right?
We tested videos until we're blue in the face. And we tested the non-UGC until we're blue in the face. UGC always wins. People like pictures of animals. That's all it is.
Yeah. That's all it is. And plus, you are getting, like, this is a really good funnel.
Oh, yeah.
Chris knows what he's doing here. Like, he's sending an image, get the click, and then he's selling them on the sales page. And the sales page is actually pretty extensive. It's it's 2,000 words, probably, is my guess.
And we added $7,000 this week in ad spend, and our NCAC dropped 2.8%. And that's at the same time we identified the bad ad. This is only going to get better. You
have one ad that spent $3,000 and got basically nothing. So, like, the obvious answer here is I would be looking at, cost to acquire a new customer is horrible. Cost per new lead, horrible. Like, that unto itself is like my leading indicator. But no, why are you not necessarily just looking for that? Is that sort of a trap that people will get caught in, and you're looking at it differently? Explain that.
The reason why I'm looking at this differently is because typically with video type of ads, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, it doesn't matter. When you're looking at a video type ad, you're assuming that not a lot of people are clicking and you're making a big impact in the market. But the outlier here is because the ECPNV was so low and the traffic was so cold, 2 indicators that tell me that this is traffic that clicks a lot. So Meta's not going to charge me that much. It's cold, which is what bots and bots and click farms do, is use leased IPs so that they look new everywhere. That's also the second indicator that I know from experience. Right. And this is not a video ad that's just getting a whole bunch of good views and very little clicks. This thing has 6 times more clicks than any other ad in this campaign, which means I should, if the demand was there for that many clicks on a video ad, I should have a couple of zeros after that 8 number, what's for lead flow.
Yeah.
And I do not. So that tells me that this is spam. And the fact that when I dug deeper, they were opting in after 6 seconds and then never coming back to my website, where other ads in the same campaign were doing that and buying.
This is a great example of, it's like you trust the algorithms to a certain degree. We always talk about this in perpetual traffic. It's like, all right, you want to feed the algorithm enough information so that you optimize your ads, unless you take off your conversion tracking, which we talked about before on the show. Which is another sneaky tactic. We'll have to, I don't know. Well, just go back and watch like all the previous tier 11 lives. How about that? To find out what that is. The point is that you need to put guardrails. Like, you can't completely trust the algorithm per se. Like, that's the reason why. Who was it that I was talking to 2 weeks ago? Actually, it's one of our clients in the hospitality space. It's like, hey, you guys are the first agency that don't do what Google tells you to do.
Wait, I wear that as a badge of pride.
It's a badge of honor. Because he's like, 99% of agencies out there just do what Google says, and I end up spending more and making less, or I make a tiny little increment more by spending a whole lot more. So with this, you are obviously like, I mean, Meta's taking advantage of you here.
Right.
Really. Right. Because all they're doing is they're just getting that video out, probably in the audience network, into the video ether, as we call it, and optimizing what they think is a good thing for you, when in fact you're just wasting a whole lot of money. Now,
and I know Meta is not looking at the speed of opt-in and the activity after an email opt-in.
No, they're not. Now, the argument could be made, however, I'm going to play devil's advocate here because I know we want to get to our questions, is that video campaign might be feeding a lot of the other image ads. Like, you might see people that have top of funnel awareness, maybe with the video ad, and then they go and they see another image, and obviously Facebook is going to try and get, we're not talking about 100% new visits here. Like, we're talking about maybe 60%.
Yeah.
So how do you combat that, or sort of balance that thought? Because we do use that process. So,
So I went 2 more layers deeper.
All right. I Figured you might have an answer.
First thing I did is I looked at and I'm going to say this quickly and I'll clarify, a cash and accrual version on full funnel and first click attributed. So I looked at, did those clicks ever amount to anything? And it did. A return purchase, but it didn't show it in Wicked, not yet. And I'll share with you why. But I said, of the first click of those 30,000 people, in the last 4 days, did anything happen ever in the history of time, even if it crossed paths with 10 other campaigns and 10 other omni-channel and even sign up an email and convert organically directly? No, not one piece of evidence that said it did. Then I looked at conversion date and full funnel, which is what I was just sharing now, and said, okay, was it the second click from anything else? Did it do some remarketing? Did it ever get any sort of conversions? Well, also, no, didn't. And I said, okay, but we're seeing better MER. We're seeing cheaper NCACs. It might be having an effect on it. So then I went and checked another source of truth. And I said, okay, on the 2 days that we spent the most amount of money were the week before and the week after. And I'll share with you what I mean. I'll go back to the beginning because this is actually really important. If I look at the 28th and 29th and I compare that to the 20th and 21st, wait, hold on. 28th, 29th, and compare that.
We're inside Shopify Plus.
20th and 21st. Oh, yes. So I went over to Shopify and now I'm looking at top line metrics. And I said, are things getting better in this area here? And I'm looking through all of our data and metrics. Let me just do this here.
You're in the analytics section of Shopify here, which is the first thing that clicks up.
There we go.
And you open up and you see net sales by sales channel, total sales over time. We're looking at those charts. Got it.
I was just getting here. So I looked at the 2 days of highest spend for our video campaign, the 2 highest days. And I said, okay, let's correlate that by MER and NCAC. So MER got better. NCAC also got better. So I'm like, okay, maybe the video is actually having an effect that I can't identify somehow. So I went deeper again. I said, I have online store 17% up. Gross sales are up. I can even see that the back end of Shopify shows that my sales by refer went up from 1,400 up to 4,300. So there might be even more stuff here that I can't see. So I dug deeper and I went to the attribution area of Shopify and I did a first click comparison inside the channel.
This is under the marketing tab.
Under marketing tab and analytics.
Yep. Marketing tab, analytics.
I'm looking at Facebook, the channel, the paid, and I see 60 new customers, 7 returning for those 2 days. I said, okay. And then I went back to the 19th and 20th, the week before where it had 0 spend, and it had 37 and 3. Interesting. Looks like 40% increase in first click attributed new customers from Meta. But when you dive one layer deeper in here, look inside of this one and say on the 19th and 20th, we didn't have 2 things. One, a new campaign we just started called the Gluttonous Hero. That one was just starting off. Had 1 new sale. And then our other campaign, which is, you don't see this here, called Citadel 1. It's not the Citadel 1 here, Gluttonous Hero. That's actually the campaign that we're expecting to see is Citadel 1 CBO Objective View Cost Cap CVR.
So the one we're looking for. Okay.
Exactly.
We're looking at that over in Wicked. Got it.
So watch this. Let's fast forward now to the 2 days of the highest spend. And even first click back end of Shopify shows that my Gluttonous Hero one, that one that we like, the one that we started as well, had 21 and 3. That one did really good with NCAC. That is the lift that we saw that we didn't see the week before. And the Citadel 1 CBO that brought the 25,000 people had a 0% conversion rate and 1 returning customer. This is another data point that says this is still not actually doing shit. So we looked at that ad today and said, based on these 4 pieces of evidence, we're pausing it. 3 days into it, very good. I now know that 3,000 of the 13,000 is wasted, but I'm not going to look a week after and say, I wonder why this didn't do very well.
So is it that the SID L1 CBO is warming up your traffic and Gluttonous Hero is just taking the credit for the sale, or no?
Could be. Yeah, it could absolutely be. So what the changes that we did is we paused the bad ad that was getting all this traffic, and then we measure for the next 3 days. And this is why it's going to take us 5 minutes to manage this account that's spending like $100,000 a week. In 3 days, in 5 minutes, I'll know if it was the right decision based on all of the metrics that we just reviewed.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you use leading metrics.
Yep. Here's a fun one. Here's a quick one for Northbeam. This one, same thing.
See,
in the last 7 days. Yeah.
We still like Northbeam. Harrison doesn't like us, but, we like Northbeam.
In the last 7 days, check this out. There's a leading indicator here. And it's only in this area here that something is about to go bad. And Ralph, I'm gonna throw you in the hot seat for a minute. What's the leading indicator that says, this is gonna start to go bad? I'm gonna eat some pretzel pieces while I wait.
ECR true CAC. Let's see here. Well, your MER is up, which is always good. Your Facebook ads, your true CAC is actually down there. ECPNV, app loving, your Google ads.
You could ignore app loving.
You could take app loving out of there.
Yeah.
I would say by looking at this, I think it's your true CAC is going in the right direction. And your MER is going up.
Something is going to start to throw it off though.
But your true CAC on Facebook ads is going in the wrong direction. And your ECPNV is actually higher, 31%.
Warmer.
There it is. Okay. So new visits down 16%.
Really warm. There you go.
So it seems like you're recycling a lot of warm traffic here, according to this interface.
Yep. You should see that I'm spending 9% more and getting 16% less new visits in Meta. So you're pushing more. And because it's on a cash basis, you're still going to get the good time lag of this week before. They're still, those people are still buying, but you're still increasing spend. And now the new visits have flip the other way. Yeah. So watch this. This is the last 7 days.
There's something 10%
more. We have 10% more. That's 16% less new visits, which means it's doing more remarketing. It's still converting those people, but your growth is going to get stagnated. So fast forward from the last 7 days to the last 3 days, and
everything
failed.
Everything failed.
This was our main driver.
Yeah.
And now they pulled back 3%, and it's still getting 21% less new visits. Now, the top line, we expected this. We ran a Black Friday sale for 3 weeks. We burned through everybody. We're done.
Okay.
We made all of our money, and we're waiting for this. That's why in my calendar I have pulled back 30% starting tomorrow, because we're just getting through today. We were expecting this. We're like, we're going to burn through everybody in 3 weeks that's expected by one day. And we did, but it was identified by the fact that we started to spend more in Meta, and we're actually getting less people to the site, which means omni-channel blended metrics, everything is going to start come crashing down. And it did in the last 3 days. That's your leading indicator. Yep.
Now, in this client, I want to get to our questions here because we got a lot of them that are piling up. Hey, did you do a lead gen campaign at all to set the groundwork and to be able to have those warm audiences? Or no, not at all, because you would probably run into the same. It's an impulse buy.
It's like a sub $30 product.
Yeah. Okay. So it makes sense.
So it was like actually you can buy a stocking stuffer at this thing, which is great. It's that size.
So you see it, you buy it, not create, like you're not talking about a high. Yeah.
Our time lag is like a day and a half. Exactly. Yeah. If you see it, if you own a pet and you see it, you're like, oh yeah, I'm buying this thing. Like, it's amazing. It's a one-click sale, like 88% of the time. It's insane.
Yeah. So probably
as soon as we saw exactly. And as soon as we saw the new traffic going away, we're like, oh, pull back, get ready to pull back. Everything's going to start crashing.
Well, that's how you use it. We'll keep talking about this because this stuff is fascinating. And now that you have, these MPIs that you could actually look inside Wicked that are actual data pieces, like actual data, it's super powerful. So, let's get to some questions here. You ready?
Let's do it.
We got 21 minutes. We got Jose V here. I'm
gonna have to eat some food. I'm getting lightheaded. It's 3 o'clock. I haven't eaten yet today, so I'm gonna eat some more pretzels while I'm
you need some more sausage and turkey and cheese.
I do. I think. I apparently didn't eat enough yesterday, which I'm surprised.
I'll be feeding off my fat stores from yesterday for a couple of days. Hitting the gym with the kids later on tonight. God, we need it. John Moran's disciple is here. Jose V has a question.
Oh, I can collect now.
Look at you. You've got like ultimate power now. I don't know. I feel inferior all of a sudden.
No one will know that it's me clicking, not you. All right. It's best to pause, reduce campaign budget significantly down to $10 a day for expected period of very low sales. Yes. So Google has a 2-day rule where it stops watching traffic for 2 days. Anytime I need to pause a campaign, I bring it down to $1 a day. If I'm expecting in some point in the near future, even 6 months out, that I want to restart this campaign, I will stop. I will not pause it. Google, once you pause it, says, okay, I'm going to stop learning, stop watching. when you go down to $1 a day or $5 a day or $10 a day, whatever you can go down to. Some you can only go down. Discovery, you can't go down below $3.44 per day. Whatever. Go down to the lowest you can is to watch traffic. You want that red alert of limited by budget. Like, oh my God, give me more money because I have more people to sell. That is the instant gratification that you get when you raise back up. It doesn't have to go through relearning. It continuously learns.
Got it.
Where's your dog?
He's right. Don't know where. He's down below. Down below.
Yep.
We'll put the camera on him soon enough. That's right. John, you mentioned last week that we need to prevent PMAX auto-generated videos. How can you do that?
Yes. So the short answer is you can't. The long answer is you got to contact your Google rep and request it. That's the only way to do it. Or you can play like kind of Captain Save a campaign where you just go in there every day and see if they auto apply and you got to go remove them. Best way is just contact your rep, opt out of the video campaigns. They could do that.
Oh, they can actually do it. So they are somewhat useful.
They keep it. They reserve some of the stuff that you need where they only can do it. So then you reach out to them. They're like, sure, I can get that done. And also auto apply everything and I'll hunt you down.
Oh my God. Well, it's good for something. We found something there. All right, John Moran's dog, who was at his feet, by the way. What's the name of your dog anyway?
Harley.
Mm-hmm.
After I started getting serious with my wife and when I started thinking about like marriage and kids and everything, I got rid of the Harley. So I don't, run over by a person TikToking at 19 years old on the internet on the highway. And so I got the dog instead.
Got rid of the Harley, got Harley the dog. All right.
So I kept my Harley.
That's great. You kept your Harley. That's perfect. Need input on the feed strategy, considering whether standard shopping or PMAX has been active previously. I'm also interested in your thoughts on optimal budget allocation between these campaigns, says John Moran's dog.
All right. When you say need input on the feed strategy, considering, I'm going to reread this. I didn't quite understand it. Whether standard shopping or PMAX has been active previously.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not sure I'm not sure what that means. Is it meaning that I'm going to start standard shopping? So I want to know if shopping is active inside of Performance Max?
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that is.
Yeah, maybe John Moran's dog can clarify that. We'll just
clarify a little bit if you can. Yeah, sorry.
We'll scroll back down to you after we answer a few more. All right, we have 5 ad groups in an existing campaign, says Joe Mass. For feeder strategy, split those ad groups out into 5 separate campaigns, max clicks, TCPA for each, or can we duplicate the single campaign?
The only thing I could say is if you're doing feeder strategy, because you said TCPA, that must mean it's search because you can't use TCPA in shopping. So I'm assuming this is search just based on the fact that you said TCPA. With that being said, the only issue I would have with breaking them out is because your TCPA is going to be broad match. Broad match competes with each other. If your ad groups are so close that you may actually start to split users by campaign because they're broadly matched with the TCPA and they're similar, you're going to stop all the growth. You want to have Google choose the proper ad group regardless of really the search term because that's less relevant because it's broad match and you're buying a person based on their conversion potential in history, not what they're typing in. So those multiple ad groups, when they turn into campaigns with their own individual ad spends, but they can broadly be overlapped with each other, you get the thing where they do, it's like whack-a-mole. Like, it's good, now it's bad, now it's good, now, and they start to perform different. When it's in one campaign, they could do that internally, but you have a daily ad spend that you can continually grow and scale regardless of what was chosen, but whatever was chosen hopefully was of good performance. So my opinion is if they're closely related enough that when you separate them out and your ad preview diagnosis shows that they can bounce around between those campaigns, you're just going to stretch yourself too thin. So don't do it. But if you said, no, one's towels and one's I'm selling giraffes on the other one, yeah, that's fine. Because you're not going to try to buy a towel and buy a giraffe. Like if they're that far apart from each other, then they're not going to overlap. You're good. But if it's like hand towels and then towel sets and then facial towels and then a towel cleaner, you're just going to screw things up. So keep it all in one campaign.
Makes sense. You ever use T-ROAS for the 2-step strategy? Somebody asked me that the other day. It's like, should I always use TCPA, or is the 2-step just in general max clicks plus either TCPA or T-ROAS?
Yeah, it depends on it's more like if you're doing search, if you're doing like a VBB, which is a value-based bidding, then you can use a T-ROAS because that means that you probably have a high volatility of AOV. It's like sometimes they pay $5, sometimes they pay $5,000. Well, with a TCPA, you're always going to pay 100 regardless of it. But with AT ROAS, you can start to get the higher AOVs and more smoothly predict your revenue.
Yeah, makes sense. Very good question here. Amin Arbane. Is there an attribution tool capable of tracking engaged view through conversions from YouTube ads?
Nope. Those are when they're non-click. Now, Northbeam does this. And I will say yes. Let me share screen because I'd like to just give you a level of a word of caution. There is something here that says click and views. Now, here's what you'll see. Google YouTube ads gets a 0.97 for last week. Do click and views. That 2,900 and 0.97 turns into 1.09. So click and view said, hey, we added what we believe were engaged view conversions. Here's what I mean by this. The source is actually not Google. This isn't Google applying it to the account. This is Northbeam's AI essentially saying this is what we believed happened. Now,
it's cool.
It's very cool.
But not necessarily accurate.
Where it comes from, exactly. Where it comes from is it says, hey, your unattributed and your organic search and your like anything else that basically says, hey, we're not sure, like unattributed and organic search and organic, like 26,000. When you do click and views, the 26,000 that was in organic just goes away. So see how it says organic 0?
Yeah.
And when you have clicks only, your organic is 26,000. Yeah. It takes that 26,000 and says, here's where I think it came from by extrapolating what is. So because Facebook is outperforming YouTube on clicks, it takes that 26. You see how Facebook says 398? We give it click and views and it goes up to 433. It says, well, you're doing better by about 10x. So you get 10x. Yeah. It just says because you clicked, you must have the same exact performance on views. Here's where that's untrue, though. People click on Facebook ads 12 times more than they click on YouTube ads. So you can't just divide it up equally. So if you use YouTube by saying, no, you should have had more clicks. You can't just go against the market for the last 10 years. So you can't equally weight a click attributed and non-attributed by only the views because you should have more views to YouTube because if they were on Meta, they would have clicked more.
I mean, it's a good attempt, but it's very presumptive.
It's directional, but if I give you 100 grand and your job on the line, would you look at this? My answer is no.
No.
But if you say, hey, here's 100 grand and use that, and how much confidence do you have that 100 grand is going to go right? I would say, well, shit, like we gotta rethink things. And how would you measure it differently? MER and NCAC.
Right. That's still at the end of the day, the things that you're going to be looking at. So no, but having said that, this is one of the biggest things that I have been after Scott at Wicked Reports for 3 years. Like, you got to figure this stuff out because super top of funnel. Like, if you can figure that, like they've figured out so much more. And now with the integration of Blot Out and data suite for us, it's like the visibility is tremendous, but still the view is like it's the last frontier. So we'll see if that actually comes.
It's definitely the last frontier. The other part though is we always had to be careful. Yeah. We always had to be careful what we give to people autonomously without any sort of communication.
Yeah.
We give that tool to them and they're like, this must be 100% true. And this must be exactly where I come from. And they dump in 50 grand there. You lose that client.
Yes, you do very fast. All right. Very good question though. Mike Griffin says, hey, John, is PMAX for lead generation getting better as far as the bot and click farm stuff is concerned? If not, what does one need to do to increase PMAX lead gen success, setting up OCI, etc.?
So last week, if you watched YouTube live, I shared with you how you can identify YouTube spam that was found inside of Performance Max, which is the reason why PMAX lead generation gets a whole bunch of bot traffic and click farm. It's coming from YouTube. So if you are running PMAX and you do have bots and you do have videos, try to remove the videos, throw them on their own Performance Max. Send them on their own YouTube campaign. Soon to be only Discover. But anyway, or Demand Gen. But if you are still receiving spam through PMAX, I would switch to OIC. So offline imports, only count the conversions that you're sending it. That will essentially train the algorithm over time. Could take 6 months though, dear Lord. It will train it that those conversions that it used to see are no longer there. And it will say, here's where the conversions are actually coming from, which hopefully will start to get less spammy. But I've been burned by it. But I got that OIC to work for 8 months straight before it just blew up again.
Yeah.
But I found out it was because of YouTube instead of Performance Max.
Yeah, makes sense. Edwin's got a question here that's very interesting. Appreciate the props here. We're an affiliate website, do not have customer data, although we do track conversions, of course. Would it still be possible for us to use Wicked Reports? What say you, John?
Your affiliate website, no customer. So, but the only thing is, do you have access and the ability to drop code into that website? If not, no.
My guess is you could, being a former affiliate.
Yeah,
you could.
Yeah, and that's what I said. If you can, absolutely. If you don't have edit access to at least your portion of the website, no.
Yeah,
we need to be able to have some ownership of that domain.
I mean,
or editing capabilities of that domain.
Yeah, what's even better is if you actually have like a pre-sale page prior to the actual conversion page too. Like you can, the more you control the process after the click, the better when you're an affiliate, just as a general rule anyway.
And sometimes they're like, hey, here's Nike.com/your page, and you can do whatever you want to your page. Then yes, you can. But you need to be able to drop a tracking code on where you're sending the traffic.
Yeah, pretty cool. All right, happy Black Friday, Romina. Romina's on watching. That's great. No Black Friday. Is there a Black Friday in Canada? I don't know. There's no Thanksgiving in Canada. All my Canadian friends are in the Bahamas. John Moran's disciple it says, do you recommend any click fraud apps? Oh my God, have we tried them all? Any thoughts on that one?
So in a previous agency, in a previous life, we tested 10 clients on ClickSees. 9 actually started to fail. 1 did better, but 9 out of 10 actually reduced so much in traffic, it was actually hurting our MPIs. So I would say no at this time, only because I think that the click fraud apps got too aggressive by saying it took crowdsourced data and then applied it to you. So it's like, hey, we believe that all these people from everybody that's ever been here ever that marked these people as spam, you don't get anymore. We automatically block them. You're like, well, I hope that everybody else was as reliable and straightforward with blocking them. And no one just said, hey, after 1 click, if you click again, you're blocked, which is what people were doing. They only pay for 1 click. If they click on their ad twice and they didn't buy it, block them. And it's like, well, what happens if you have a 21-day sales cycle? As soon as they start to get more interested, you're like, go away.
Go away.
Yeah.
Right.
And
we don't want you.
And that happened to hundreds of thousands of people in the United States. So I think it kind of imploded in on itself because of that. So I would say, and there's ability to turn it off. So you can turn it off. But after you turn it off, I think it takes about another 3 to 6 months for you to identify your own really bot traffic and get them blocked at the point where you're not just like a bot, a block, another bot, a block. It's like they have to try to reattempt before you actually see the benefit.
Yeah, we used to like we tested this so much. I know you guys did too. Like back when you were with Solutions 8, is more forms in your form field. Like put in a honeypot question, which is just like that it's whatever you're looking for. We can't tell you what it was, but we had a question that absolutely was like an obvious answer, but the absolute wrong answer. We tried so many different things. We could never figure this out. So we tried ClickSee too. Like nobody could figure it out. Anyway, it's super frustrating. It's one of those things. You're on the internet, you're going to have to deal with it. So
here's what I would say. If you wanted to get ClickSees, download the ClickSees report of the fraud that it blocked, send that to Google and request a refund for that as proof. I did get $200,000 back one time doing that.
Really? That's pretty damn good.
Our Australian company that does the education for Amazon sellers. A $225,000 refund for them because of it.
Damn. That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, if you can get 225 back by that.
It helps when you spend $1 million a month.
Yeah.
They listen to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, they do. Yeah, you've got their attention.
Like, give me 2 years of refunds just for the hell of it. They're going to, they probably won't listen to you.
Yeah, they won't listen to us there. All right. Guantona's listening to us. He calls us a couple of legends. That's pretty good.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Great to see you. Mike Griffin. Also, this question is kind of related to the last one. We're trying to target people that intended having their wedding within 3 months of opting in by counting only those people as primary conversions. I think, all right, that's a 2-part question here. And leading up to OCI, isn't it OIC, to pass back sales data? Will that steer Google's algo to targeting more people that intend on having their wedding within that window? So we're talking about a longer attribution window here.
Got it. Let me read it again a little slower in my brain. We're trying to target people that intend on having their wedding within 3 months of opting in by counting only those people as primary conversions and setting up OIC or OCI to pass back sales data that will steer Google's algo targeting more people. Okay, here's the issue. The date range that you have between the click and when you imported is your learning. So that's the only thing I would say. Yes, this is a very viable strategy. I've seen it work. I've seen it not. Where I typically don't see it work, or at least be abandoned too early, is if you say that the people that intend to have their wedding and then you import them, if that's 15 days, if that's 45 days, if that's 60 days, for example, then the time where when you make a change in the account, like, hey, target CPA, decrease that. It's like, okay, I will wait 45 days to actually implement that change, because everything that it's gotten in the last 45 days, it's waiting to see what happens to it. So the longer you have between first click, I should say last click really, and OIC or OCI, that is how long it takes for your campaign to optimize off of any input of changes that you make. So just be mindful of that. I don't know how long that window is. You're going to have really quality data, but my opinion, if it's like longer than 30 days or 15 or 30 days, give this thing 6 months, honestly. Like, that's how long you're going to have to wait to see if this thing really starts to work. It sucks, but that's the reality.
It seems like Bike is superimposing a 3-month window on something that might not be a 3-month window. Like, that's just as a general rule, like these things sometimes take longer than 3 months. To make decisions on. Could be months, years. For me, it was like almost 2 years. But anyway, we'll take that out. Still happily married after 25 years. So there you go. So maybe waiting a little bit longer is a good thing. However, it seems like he's limiting this a bit. For people who don't know what OIC is or OCI, explain what that is.
It's an offline importation of conversion actions. So essentially what it means is you don't count conversions inside of Google based on online activity. You allow it to perform its normal online activity by driving traffic to your site. But the only time it counts conversion is when you import it back into your site and say, hey, that one you sent me was good.
Right.
And what sucks is exactly. And what Google does is like, okay, I'm still going to just send you data at random until you tell me if it's good or not. And if it takes a month for you to tell me what's good or not, great. That means it's 30-day sales cycle. So on day 2, it's like, I still have 29 days left of people that I sent you. So I'm not going to make anything until you tell me for every single day for the next month, whatever ended up happening. And then I'll be able to say, aha, and a 30-day window between this and this what happens. Now I'm going to start to optimize. So by the time you start to feed it back, all you did was scoop up day 1's metrics. What about the rolling day 2 metrics? You got to do it again. The day 3, then do it again. The day 4, then do it again. So that's why if it takes 30 days, that's how long your optimization cycle is to Google.
How good is the match rate on Google? I know roughly what it is on Meta.
30%.
It's that
25
low.
to 30%. Yeah.
Really? I didn't realize it was that low.
Here's a great test. You know what? Here's a good one.
Because when you're uploading data from an outside source, let's say it's an Excel file or whatever it happens to be, like you have to be able to match that data with an actual user. Yeah. The question is how good is that match? It might be 50% or greater on Meta in some cases. It's getting less and less. However, it depends on the quality of the data, it depends on the quality of the leads too. Because if they're spam leads, then like we were just talking about, so that factors into it. But that's really not as high as I would have thought.
It used to be like 70%, 80%. Now it's about 30%. And that's the reason why we're also seeing loss of attribution. Yeah. But if I have time, I'm gonna see if I can grab this real quick. This is a really great way to actually do a quick check on your own account, is to do this. Go into let's get it pulled up here real quick. Dang, it's not gonna work. Oh wait, no, it might now. All visitors. Okay, so here's a good one. Share screen. All right.
Look so at I have playing producer.
I have all users of my website in GA4, and every day I have a total after like this last week of I can match 24,000 people on search. In the last, let's just do this last like 7 days here. This is the same thing. This is October 30th, October 29th. So this is a month. After a month of tracking in GA4 of all users, I have 35,000 people I can match. The highest. 24,000 search, 35,000. In this last month, I have 250,000 sessions.
Yep.
I can match 35,000 of those.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
So that's a good indicator of it. It's like, hey, let's do remarketing. Great. Out of 250,000 people, you got 35,000 you can match.
So it's the average number that you get
Yeah,
whether it's
15%
OIC or whether it's retargeting, it's like that's the number.
Really terrible. Exactly.
Yeah, really sucks. So sorry, that's if you're not using something else, then that's what you get. Yeah, exactly. Elbeck, I'm gonna butcher his name here. I think we're on our last couple of questions here.
Yep. How
to lower CPC on shopping campaign if CPC increases every time after a conversion?
Yeah, that's Google price fixing. I would do a couple things. I'd try running feeder strategy if you have it. I'd also try killing the conversion action and then running it on a manual CPC. And just measuring offline. But those are two strategies that have been on Tier 11's YouTube channel and everything that we've talked about in Nausea before that will help that issue.
There you go. Go back. Well, there's plenty of resources on the Tier 11 YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
Question 2 for Jose V. Do you have a couple of extra minutes here? Or you have to
let me check to see if the other person's in the other meet, because it's a meeting. So I'm just gonna see if they join yet. They may not be there today. Let me just see.
All right. In the meantime, I will read out Jose V's question. Question number 2 is for broad keywords and smart bidding. Does it help to use multiple words to signal intent? For example, buy large dog collars.
For broad and smart bidding, no. You can bid on it, but what you're going to find is that your match rate between that search term and all the other ones are really low. We did this with the client with Tier 11. So they said, hey, this keyword actually brought us this much of results. Excellent. Hundreds of conversions, thousands of dollars in revenue in the last 2 years. And I said, hey, in the last 2 years, that keyword has only been matched to that search term 62 times.
Yeah.
I have 540,000 search terms matched to that keyword, but the exact ones 62 times.
Yeah.
It was a really funny meeting. Because they did a whole bunch of research and I felt really bad because they're like, here's all the keyword data that we can use to grow because all we have to do is bid on this keyword more. I'm like, yes, but that keyword matched 50,000 search terms. So that keyword actually had nothing to do with it. And that's because broad matching and smart bidding says, do I think Ralph is going to convert? Yes. Is Ralph typing in something at least closely related to us? Yes. Bid. So it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So in this case, you'd have the search term dog collars, right?
Yeah.
And you're just getting buy large dog collars. You're getting all the other ones that are in there. Right?
You can bid on buy large dog collars and make a sale for buy small cat collars. And that'll happen.
Oh, the algorithm's so smart, isn't it?
I know, right?
Oh, man. Don't listen to your Google reps. Thank you, Moshi. All right. Well, on that note, the tryptophan is finally sort of subsided here for a bit.
I'll do this. So Google reps can kill the video action campaigns. They can help get disapprovals and that kind of stuff. So it's like when you just can't find anything, they can help. However, when all their optimizations last week I had a Google rep tell me, John, if you tried something called the feeder strategy, I was like laughing my ass off.
You know what's so funny is they're watching these.
Yeah.
We're watching these shows, getting the answers for when they can answer as like a sales customer service rep.
I met a Google rep a year ago. They're like, "Oh, my boss sent me your video." I was like, "Oh, it's so
funny." We're educating Google. Oh my God, that is so funny. All right, man. Well, this has been great as always. Happy Black Friday, happy Cyber Monday. If I don't talk to you, and thanks for everybody showing up here today. Yeah, I'll be buying lots of stuff this weekend. That's for sure. All off the Tier 11 ads. But yeah, make sure that you join us every single week. Check out our socials, and we will be back same time, same channel next week for Tier 11 Live.
Thanks,
everyone, see ya.